I have with me
Okay.
these are the MBA students first year and first semester and the third semester students.
Okay, ma'am.
Very quickly, please come. Before Shobha gives the introduction, let me tell my students. Kashyap is an ex-student of mine. I taught him at Kathmandu University School of Management, and since then he has been doing very, very well. Just as I always tell all of you that I'm very proud of all my students. I'm extremely proud of what he has achieved over the years. He's done very well for himself. He worked, as Shobha will give you all the details, but the kind of work that he's doing is very, very good. And it feels very nice that when you've taught a student like Kashyap and he actually uses all that he studied in the class, in the field, in the marketplace, that kind of gives you a lot of gratification. So I'll request Shobha to come and introduce you, and then we can have the session after that. Shobha. Thank you, Kashyap, once
Thank you,
again.
ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Good morning, everyone. Uh, it is my privilege to introduce our distinguished speaker for today, Mr. Kashyap Shakya. Mr. Shakya is the co-founder and brand strategist at PYCUS Holdings, a leading brand consultancy established in 2017, and also the co-founder of Allied Food. He is associated with academia as an adjunct faculty at Kathmandu University School of Management and a student of management. With over 20 years of experience in the Nepalese market, Mr. Shakya has worked with multinational corporations such as Carlsberg Nepal and Dabur Nepal as brand manager, and with Nepal Life Insurance, with country's leading life insurance company. He has successfully launched iconic brands such as with the products like Gorkha beer, Jolly Sandy, and several variants of real juice in Nepal, along with numerous other consumer products. Notably, he also added the rebranding of Nepal Life Insurance. At present, he is heading PYCUS Holdings as brand strategist, working with some of Nepal's biggest brands, including PhonePe, NMB Capital, Lakshmi Sunrise Bank, Beko, Black& Decker, and many others. His firms also collaborate with numerous startups, helping them establish and grow their brands in competitive markets. We are truly honored to have him with us today, and I now warmly invite Mr. Kashyap to address the gathering. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Shobha. I'm humbled actually to be a part of this session after quite some time. I've taken some sessions before also. I would request someone to please allow me to share my screen so that I can start off with a not much like not too many slides, but just some pointers. Can someone allow me to share my screen? Okay. Okay. So first of all, before I share the screen, let me tell you, uh, I've spent a majority of my life in India. Actually, I was born and brought up in Sikkim, and uh, I understand the Indian market, the Indian people. I've lived more as an Indian rather than a Nepali. I've just been here in Nepal for about like 20 years. I did my engineering from UP, KNIT Sultanpur, and then after that only I came to Nepal and did my MBA here, where I got the opportunity to study from such a wonderful mentor like Sujata ma'am. And then yes, I've been continuing with my marketing life. So out of all the things today, I would like to talk about a little bit about storytelling, because what I feel is the idea of storytelling. There are many things which have remained constant and many things which have changed. Many wrong narratives also, which has become popular, which I will try to, break the myth or clarify the myth, which people, we take it for granted and we follow that so blindly. Okay, so we'll discuss. It's a very open discussion, and let me also tell you that I will not be presenting too many of the technical. I'm actually presenting my vision or my observations over the years. All right. So that's like some of the points may be very, very cliche terms which we use on a day-to-day basis as far as marketing and storytelling is concerned. but some of the things are more of my personal observation and what I plan to or what I implement on a day-to-day life in my work. So first of all, let me just share a small slide, not much, just like I said, only it's a it's pointers. Okay. So can we see the screen? I hope everyone can see the screen. Okay. So uh, we don't need to understand what is storytelling. Okay, storytelling is like since we were kids, since we were children, we've been hearing stories. It's a narration, it's a narrative, it's a connection of multiple ideas. Okay, and one after the other, there is a chain which keeps us hooked, and we like to continue with that with the chain of thoughts and chain of ideas, and there's a beginning and there's an end. Uh, we look at movies, we look at series, we look at biographies. Okay, so we like to see and we like to observe these things in a storytelling aspect. Now, this idea of storytelling has become a very, very integral part of marketing because now, today, marketers want to tell stories rather than just talk about what the product is or what the service is or what the functions are. That's everybody is doing it or everybody did it. So there must have been someone who came and said that, okay, I want to tell this in a slightly different manner. Yes, anything, Shobha?
Excuse me, sir. Can you
Yeah.
please share your screen in like in full version?
Okay.
Full
Sure.
screen
Okay.
presentation.
Now, yeah, can we see that?
Yes, sir.
Can we
Yes, sir.
see it?
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
thank you. So, storytelling now has become a very, very important part of marketing because the marketers have become wonderful storytellers. If you really look into it, I feel marketers are better storytellers than, uh, some movie makers, some script writers, because it's a very big challenge. Now, how has storytelling changed? Okay, or first of all, let's talk about why storytelling. Now, the thing is, especially if you look at the scenario after the end of World War II, the Industrial Revolution, the product proliferation, competition, innovation. So a lot of products came into the market, a lot of services came into the market. Even if we look at the evolution of India after 1947, the independence, it has come a long way. It has come a long way in a very different manner. The market has opened up. When I was graduating in the year 2000, there was these the Indian market opened up to international brands. Okay, so there was a lot of liberalization going on. So if you look at it from that perspective, the market has changed. And one thing I really like about the Indian marketing scenario is even before that, the Indian marketing scenario has been a very good example of uh, what we say storytelling in terms of marketing. Okay, so let me just show you a very, very old ad. I don't know if this generation has ever come across, but I'm 100% sure Sujata ma'am must have can literally live that ad. And I personally have also lived through that ad. Okay, so let me just take you through an ad or maybe a few videos and let's connect with, how the storytelling has changed. Okay, so, okay, so, okay. So the video quality is very, very bad because this is from a very old era, 1980s. Okay. So let me just play this ad.
Excuse me, sir. Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Sir, is the video have not any audio or is it in mute mode? Sorry.
No, the audio is there, but Same as system. Okay. Okay, let me play again. Can we hear that now?
No, sir.
No? Now?
Okay.
Yes? Can we hear it?
No, sir. It's
No?
not audible still.
Are same set. Still not?
No, sir. मैम ऐसा करते हैं वीडियो हम ले लो फिर हम ही चला दें वो अगर भेज दें Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
If you share the link of the video, we will share through our.
Okay. It's actually not a link. It's a video that I downloaded.
Oh, okay.
Uh, Now can you hear can you hear the sound?
No, sir.
Not yet. All right. What happened? It should have been. Okay. So once again, I'll try it for the last time. Okay.
Ma'am, actually, it's a downloaded video, so
It's background side by side.
it will take time now to get download. Problems.
Still not?
No, sir.
No? Okay, so there's some problem. Okay. So let me get back to the class then. No worries. So I think Sujata ma'am can relate to this ad, the Lalita Ji wala ad, and I'm sure some of you must have seen this ad somewhere. Okay, so you can go to the YouTube and you can look at it. Now, if you really look into this ad, I started appreciating this ad, after I became a marketer, to be really, if you really ask me. Because as a kid, 1984 was the time when we got our first television set, okay? And then we used to watch all the Chitrahars and Mahabharats and the Ramayanas, okay? And Sunday used to be a time when we used to get like literally glued to the television, in front of the television from 9 to 11, because there used to be a lot of Disney, shows and interesting shows, uh, the Campa Cola, which has been recently launched by Reliance, it was there then. So during the 1980s, we used to look at the ad of Campa Cola. So it has been, many people of your generation may think that Campa Cola is a new brand, but it's an old brand. It's a revived and a relaunched brand. So if you look at this particular Lalita Jiwala ad, I'll just give you the gist of the ad. Here, they were talking about, Surf was talking about a modern lady, or let's say the dawn of a modern Indian lady who is wise, who is very, very clever, who is very, very sound as far as calculations are concerned. Okay. She takes care of the family, she takes care of her kid, everything. And then she goes to buy some stuffs, and they are trying to portray the intelligent, new age Indian woman. Okay. And she says an intelligent Lalita ji will only buy surf because she's very, very clever, and she understands that half a kilo of surf is equivalent to 1 kg of any other detergent powder. Okay. So there was this story. And like I said, after 30 years of watching that ad, I appreciate that ad more now, because at that point of time, 30 years ago, someone thought of such a fantastic way of portraying almost 1 billion, to 1 billion population, that this is the Indian lady, or this is the Indian woman today. She is intelligent, she is educated, and if you look at this particular character, I forgot her name, but she also played a very popular role of being, I think there was an Indian serial where she played a very strong lady as a police officer. Okay, so the whole narrative, the way we look at the actress, sorry, Deepika ji, the lady who played the role of Sita in Ramayana, or Arun Govil who played the role of Ram, in a way, it's sad that they could not play any other role because they have always been idolized as Ram and Sita. Okay, so similarly, Lalita ji was idolized as a very intelligent woman, and maybe she would never, get the role of a villain in a movie or a villain in a serial. So she was portrayed as a very strong police officer in one of the serials, and that became very, very popular. Okay, so that's the power of storytelling. Okay, so we can look at Arun Govil as Ram, we can look at Deepika ji as, and Deepika ji has again endorsed a similar brand. I think it was Nirma. Okay, so she has played a similar idea and she has played a similar role of embodiment of the modern Indian intelligent educated woman. Okay, so that was storytelling 30 years ago. Now the interesting part is some things of storytelling has remained the same. Okay. Either you can say that 30 years ago, whoever wrote the script was too ahead of time, or you can say that we are still following the same steps because those steps make sense today also. And that's the narrative I want to believe in. So even today, the storytelling aspect remains the same. Yes. Now, what has changed is where are we showing our stories? Now, the most important thing is, let me put up a question and you can raise your hands. How many of you in the class watch television? Or let's say, okay, first question. How many of you have a television at home? Almost everyone. Ma'am, you don't have a television, come on. You have a television, right? But how many of us actually watch television today? Yeah, what those raised hands, what do you watch? Yes? I can't hear you. Yeah? What do they watch?
Sir, like OTT purpose only.
Exactly, right? How many of you go to Star Movies, or how many of you go to Star Plus, or very rare, right? So we open our television sets, and what do we watch is we watch OTTs, and Netflix being one of the most popular, and Prime Video being the second most popular, and there are some other OTTs also like Disney Hotstar and etc. So uh, how have the consumer behavior changed in this matter is now consumers don't want to wait. Okay, like I said, we used to be glued to the television on a Sunday morning at 9 o'clock. Today, no, I don't want to wait. I don't want to be glued. I don't want to have a television schedule. I don't flip through the newspapers to see which movie is coming at what time. I want to watch something in my own convenience, in my own time. Sometimes I finish a movie of 3 hours in a week's time. I watch 15 minutes, 20 minutes after office, and then I pause it. So that's how things have changed. Okay, so the storytellers are also changing their way of telling the stories. So marketers are also doing the same thing. Okay, so if you look at this slide, okay, the slide that I've made, the first question is why storytelling? Because the first and most important thing is, now apart from the benefits or the features of a product or a service, we want an emotional connection, okay, with the brand, with the product, with the sellers. uh, in some cases, for example, if you're selling a car, maybe there could be a connection between the showroom and the person. Even if I want to buy a car, I may be so particular that I want to buy my car from that particular showroom because the salesman in that particular showroom is very nice. All right. Or I want to go to this particular store of this store's chain because there, something is nice, the ambience is nice, or the temperature is nice, or the people are very, very welcoming, etc. So it's the emotional connection that marketers have realized, and they want to be very, very connected with the customer. And now in today's context, for example, like I said, yesterday it was the television or the radio or the newspaper, but today there are lots of platforms, and the storytelling aspect has drastically changed, keeping some things same because of the platforms and because of the availability of digital platforms. Now, I don't know if it's sad or not, but a platform like TikTok, today, if you really ask me, I get literally every information from news, to Israel versus Palestine, to Russia versus Ukraine, to AI innovations, to, new movie releases, everything. To be very frank, I get my information from TikTok today. Now, sadly, it's banned in India, so, you may not have that access. Now, if you really compare a channel or a platform like Instagram and TikTok, in that manner, TikTok is much better because Instagram does not feed you those, news and interesting stuffs. Instagram is more about only lifestyle, but TikTok has ceased to become only lifestyle. TikTok has actually become a news channel. So if you are aware about the recent revolution that happened, the Gen Z revolution, it was fueled through platforms like TikTok massively. Okay, so there's an emotional connection. There is a relation, brand marketers are actually looking to connect with the customers. And again, another important aspect is today, the storytelling has become two-way. So yesterday I would look at Lalita ji, the ad, and there was no place to actually go and react. Okay, my reaction would be with a friend or another colleague or another family member, and then I would tell him or her, okay, I like this ad or I did not like this ad. Okay, and then there would be some form of feedback in the society, and they would realize that, oh, okay, this thing has become popular in so and so manner. But today I don't have to wait for that. I can react immediately. And that's the power of the digital platforms. Okay, it's not only social media, it's the digital platform. There are social versus non-social media platforms as well. Okay, so the emotional connection is very important. Cutting through the noise. Now, definitely when we talk about noise, there's a lot of clutter in the market. There are lots of platforms, there are lots of content, there are lots of different types of content. Today, if you really look into it, people are giving out AI and VR and AR related ads in newspapers, which can be viewed with a mobile phone. And you can actually look at the interaction, or you can actually, interact with a print ad. Okay, and they will tell the story through a QR. So I just need to scan a QR on a newspaper, and then the QR will tell me the story. So they are trying to make it more interactive. Otherwise, if you really look into newspapers, it's a dying form of media, sadly. Okay, and another important thing is, as we are progressing as human beings, to some extent, I will not generalize this thing. To some extent, at a certain point, we are losing logic. So the marketers understand, if all my consumers are not logical, then I have to connect with them emotionally. Okay, so logic comes after emotion. So they will put in emotion first, and then the logic will come. Okay, so before, if you really look into the evolution of marketing, people used to put logic, this product is good, this product is cheap, this product is available, this product will last long. But today they are putting emotion over logic, and that is actually making sense again, because there's a lot of competition. Someone came up with an emotional ad and it made sense, so everybody wants to do that. All right, so if you look at the storytelling in the digital era, it has changed. All right, like I said, it's not one way, it's two way. Okay, so stories are co-created. Now, I will show you another video, and I'm sorry if the sound cannot be heard, but you will be able to understand the gist. Okay, so let me stop this and let me just share another video.
When you pay your credit card bills on credit,
and I'm 100% sure many of you must have gone through. This is one of my favorite brands when it comes to, storytelling. And again, I will connect this with some aspects of my observation, and I'll tell you. So, how many of you have seen this cred ad?
on credit cards, use them to claim cashback and rewards. I know this sounds ridiculous. It's like saying Rahul Dravid has anger issues. That doesn't mean you can overtake. Come, man, come, do come, man. What about beginning? All right. Could have gone straight and taken away.
Okay, so How many of us know Rahul Dravid? Anyone who doesn't know Rahul Dravid in class? How many of us know Rahul Dravid? No? Anyone who doesn't know Rahul Dravid? No? See, everyone should know Rahul Dravid, okay? Okay, so he is considered to be one of the most patient cricket players. He is also known to be the wall. You know, he's called the wall because like he plays very slow and he's more popular as a test cricketer. He's known as the wall because he doesn't let the bat, his bat does not let the ball through him. Okay. And because he is a very, very patient guy, nobody had ever expected Rahul Dravid to be so angry. All right. Now, if you look at the ads of Cred, they have brought in a lot of celebrities. And what you should look at is, I'll take you through this thing. I'll take you to the last slide. Okay. So this is what has come. Now, this is my observation. Okay. You must have heard many people say that content is king. Okay. Again, I would like to ask, how many of us think content is king? You think content is king? Okay, good. Yes, content is very, very important. But what has become important today is the context. I personally feel, along with content, context is king. Okay. Now, if you look at the Credwala ad, what will you see is there is content, there is context, but the context is very, very contrasting. Okay. The way contrast the storyteller, the script writer, whoever thought about the ad, and wrote the script and said that, okay, I'll make Rahul Dravid angry. Okay. Or they could have said, I will make Rakhi Sawant very simple and Sati Savitri. Contrast. Okay. And the contrast is the context. Okay. So the first idea is I will put in something very, very contrasting. I will add context to it. And then on that basis, I will write my content. Okay. So now today in the digital era, when ads are going viral, okay, what we have to understand is it's not only the content. Okay. It's not only the script. It's the context that you have to look into. Okay. It's the contrast sometimes which works. Now, if you look at it from an opposite angle, another thing that makes sense is consistency. So again, consistency is also there. Now, let me put up another ad where it properly exemplifies the consistency, not the contrast. People expect that from these people. Okay, so let me share this ad, which is a very, very recent ad. And again, one of my favorites. I've looked at this ad many times and I still love it. How many of us like Samarena? I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan. Okay. And another guy shares the same name as me. So again, I like this guy as well. So if you look at this ad, they may not be sound, but you've seen this ad. So yes, anyone who's seen this ad in the class? Samarena and Anurag Kashyapala ad, Bold Care, condoms. Anyone? You've seen this ad? No? Oh, this has become very, okay. I can see one hand, two hands. Okay. Fantastic ad. So if you look at this, this is consistency. This is not contrast. Okay. So let's look at this ad. You can read the subtitles.
अभी आप देखो सर मेरी एक्टिंग में देखो एक्शन दोस्तों बोल्ड के condoms are barely safe but fully there barely there but fully safe of course बेटा पॉपुलेशन नहीं बढ़ानी कॉन्डोम एक जिम्मेदारी है नहीं सर ये जिम्मेदारी मैं निभाऊंगा बिल्कुल एक्शन दोस्तों बोल्ड के condoms are so thin you won't even feel like wearing it. God! It's so thin that you won't even feel like wearing it. Feel like you are wearing it. रणवीर सिंह वाला सर रणवीर मत बोलो मुझे दूसरा वाला याद आता है एक्शन बोलो ना, एक्शन सर, एक बार जोर से बोलो, एक्शन। दोस्तों, पेश है बोल्ड केयर के अल्ट्रा थिन ढीले कॉन्डम्स। सर अब क्या हो गया यार? ढीले क्या होता है? ढीले कौन लिखा है इधर? कौन कहता है ढीले कॉन्डम? ढीले जो आपकी मूवी रिलीज होने में है। अरे इसको लेके आए हो यार? सर कम आटो लग जाओ, कोई काम से नहीं बोला। मतलब वो कुर्सी पे बांध कर खुद करूंगा ये ऐड। अच्छा, अगर मैंने दिया तो अनुराग कश्यप करने वाला है ये। Would you rather watch ओल्ड केयर कॉन्डोम, barely rare but fully safe? वाह, they are so thin कि आपको पता ही लगे आपने कुछ पहना हुआ है। क्या बात है? They are India's best ढीले कॉन्डोम as well. ये लगा के आपका परफॉर्मेंस इतना लंबा चलेगा ना, इतना लंबा चलेगा, इतना लंबा चलेगा। सर आपकी शादी इतना लंबा चलेगा क्या? इसके शो से तो ज्यादा ही लंबा चलेगा।
Okay. So this is the latest Bold Care wala ad. Now, if you followed Bold Care as a brand, the first ad that they brought with Ranveer Singh and Johnny Sins. Okay, you should look at that ad also. Amazing. You know, that's something that the Indian audience never expected. They never thought they would, you know, Bold Care would bring in Johnny Sins as an actor in an ad. Okay, and they've put that cringe of the, you know, Indian soap wala scenario, and they've made it very, very funny. Okay, and even if you look at this particular ad, why am I saying that this ad is very consistent? Because the expectation of the audience from a person like Samay Raina is maintained. There's nothing contrasting about it. They expect Samay Raina to be very, very unfiltered. They expect Samay Raina to be very, very naughty. They expect Samay Raina to be very bold. Okay, they expect Samay Raina to do something very mischievous, and that consistency is maintained. Okay, and on the other hand, there's another guy like Anurag Kashyap, who is again very, very wild, who is very, very unfiltered, and that consistency has been maintained. But like I said, if you look at the other ad that we talked about, then Rahul Dravid, there is contrast. Okay, so you can tell a story in terms of contrast. You can tell a story in terms of consistency. Okay, for example, in case of Lalita ji, the consistency was maintained to such an extent that her whole career was shaped because of the perception of Lalita ji. Okay, Deepika ji, her whole career was shaped because people personified her as Sita, and you know they could not move away from that vision of Deepika ji being a Sita in a movie. So she could maybe probably never play a villain's role. Okay, so that consistency is there. On the other hand, Rahul Dravid, who is supposed to be very, very calm and cool, is portrayed in a very contrasting manner. Okay, so those things, we take those things, we add context. Now, how do we add context? Is we add context from the product's perspective. Okay, so there has to be the product's perspective. Otherwise, again, the storytelling will not make sense because we have to sell something. And then on that basis, we make the content. So today, when I write a story or when I sit with my team to, you know, write a script about an ad or a marketing activity, we always look from a context perspective. We always look, and then we decide whether we want to give contrast or whether we want to give consistency. Now, depends. For example, if it's a very traditional kind of a company, they always look for consistency. You know, I don't want to be very experimental and I don't want to take risk, and we have to give them consistency. But some brands are there who come and say that no, I want to do something really wild in the market so that it goes viral. Okay, the term everybody uses nowadays is viral. They want virality. They want everything to go viral. Okay, organically. So in that case, we step a little bit ahead and we take the risk of, you know, adding contrast and adding context, and then we plan the content. So if somebody says that content is the king, yeah, content cannot be a king without the context. So in today's context, you have to see that the context is properly maintained. Okay, so any content will not work. So that's one of the things. Now, when we looked at the Bold Care ad, what did you observe? Something? Any observations from your side? Anything different that we observed, when we looked at the Lalita ji wala ad and when we looked at the Samay Raina wala ad, any difference that you felt? Yes? Anything different? Yes, the quality is very good because nowadays we are, shooting in 4K. We are using fancy cameras. The production has become very, very nice. Those things are there. But apart from that, if you look at the fundamental aspects of those two advertisements, what is one thing that you really found it to be different? I'll give you a clue. That was possible because of the digital platforms. That was not possible in the old traditional television wala platform. What was that thing? Anyone? No? No? It was a 2-minute ad. Did you realize it was a 2-minute ad? Okay, Lalita ji wala ad was 40-second ad. But if you look at the Bold Care ad, it's a 2-minute ad. Anyone who has, I'm sure you've gone through some of the Google's ads. Have you seen some Google search engines ads? The one where, the partition wala story is portrayed. There are two grandfathers, one is a girl, one is a boy, and, they try to connect, they look at the maps, and that ad is almost 3.5, 4 minutes ad. And that ad went viral, not on television. I never saw that ad on television, any channel, nowhere. Okay, but that went viral and that became popular on the digital platforms. Now, what I'm trying to tell you is because of digital platforms, storytelling actually has become better. Okay, now here there is a very, very wrong narrative that is floating, and I'm very thankful. Recently, we had a member, a participant from India. He was a presenter. I forgot his name. Sorry. We just had a brand-related event in Nepal, and I was one of the panelists. And there was a presentation by an Indian guy, and this guy actually talked about the attention span, and I was very happy that we could relate in that case. Otherwise, if you look at the general narrative, what people say is attention span has decreased, right? Everybody says that. So before attention span was 10 second, 12 second, nowadays they say that we have an attention span shorter than a goldfish's attention span. So if you look at this thing, this is a very, very common narrative that is going around in the market. So they say that our human being's attention span is 2 seconds or 3 seconds. Now, again, if you are scrolling through reels, then we can see that, we are just scrolling through reels and the attention has to be grabbed within the first 2 seconds, or let's say first 2 seconds, not even 3 seconds. But what we should understand is it is not attention. See, if you look at the definition of the word attention, it is how much attention we pay to a particular content and how long we stick to that content. Okay. The 2 seconds thing is the attention grabbing thing. The idea of grabbing an attention. But what we should understand is in the digital format or in the digital era, if we are able to grab the attention, then people can stick. What I have seen is people can stick with the content for a longer period of time. Now, there are also narratives where people say that 3 hours of a movie is too long. But have you realized that sometimes we binge watch 6 episodes, 7 episodes of a series over an evening? Have you realized that? So has the attention span of human beings really decreased? I doubt. So why does a person who says that a 3-hour movie is too long sticks with a series and watches it overnight, for example, Squid Games, okay, or the Indian series, they have like fantastic, I love Indian series, The Family Man, I binge watch 6 episodes, 7 episodes, 9 episodes, sometimes I sleep at 3 in the morning. Friday evening, I sleep at 3 in the morning and I wake up at like 8, 9 in the morning on a Saturday because Saturday is holiday, right? So if you look at it from that perspective, the attention span of a human being has not gone down. Okay, now here there's another question mark. So someone will come and ask me, so why are people watching 6 episodes or 10 episodes in one go? Because the content of that series has been so well made. Okay, so what comes now is the aspect of creativity. Okay, so when we are talking about content, context, consistency, and contrast, the creativity part, the fifth C, becomes very, very important. If the creativity is not there, we don't even watch a 15-second video. If the creativity is there, we go through a 6-hour, 7-hour marathon and watch a completely full series also. So if somebody comes and tells you that no, the human being's attention span has decreased, absolutely not. Absolutely not. The only thing that has changed is we have become hungry for more creativity.
Kashyap, can I ask a question here?
Yes, ma'am, please.
Okay, now see, I agree with you about the movies and that, we binge watch shows,
Yes,
right?
ma'am.
Creativity part also, I get that. Now, the other
Yes,
day,
ma'am.
we were contemplating going for Godfather. Godfather is released again, you must be aware. In India, at least, they have released all the
Yes.
Godfather. We were thinking of going to see Godfather. We might still do it.
Yes,
Now,
ma'am.
we're just balking at the idea a little bit, saying that it's a 2 hour, 57 minutes, 3 hours movie,
Yes,
right?
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
I don't think we can ever challenge that Godfather is not a great movie. It's great.
Yes.
In what form of creativity, that is different, but it is definitely great. Would it also, I don't know how you'll factor it, that would it also matter that when we are watching the shows, binge watching shows, and we all do that, is it because we are doing it in the comfort of our home, and the movie we have to take ourselves somewhere,
Ex-
drive, take ourselves somewhere, sit there, watch it in a different environment, then come back, drive ourselves home? Here we are doing it at our own pace. As you said, we watch it at our own pace. So, because that freedom is given to us here, we have that freedom here, and that freedom is not given to us when we go for a movie. Would that kind of factor in there when we talk of
Absolutely, ma'am. Absolutely. Because if you look at the evolution of movies in theaters today, ma'am, they are actually competing with the shows and OTT platforms. And we can even see that, Netflix is paying a huge amount of money for these wonderful blockbuster movies also today. And if you look at the theater movie, watching movies in theaters, the development of IMAX, the development of that place, it's called the Sphere. I think it's in the US, Sphere, and so that level of gigantism and that level of uniqueness they are putting into movies so that people come to the theater. They take the effort of coming to the theater. Otherwise, if it was the same old 70 theater with no surround sound and no effects and no clarity and no 4K, we would uh, like to watch in the comfort of our homes. So it's a very competitive thing. And that's the reason why, again, the digital platforms have become popular, because we can watch it in our own comfort. Now, like you said, no, ma'am, if we talk about Godfather and re-releasing of Godfather, I don't know if the new generation will appreciate that movie the way we did it, because the new generation, they actually grew up directly with very fancy, like for example, Marvel movies, where there's a lot of VFX and a lot of effects and a lot of sound quality and surround sounds and 3D and all those stuffs. So Godfather, if it is re-released, if it is remade, I don't know, new actors, new way of portraying things, I don't know, that could be much more relevant to the newer generation. But the older movie, I don't know if they will be able to relate it from that perspective. So the comfort part, I absolutely agree with you. And because of that, ma'am, that's why I'm saying there was a recent stat, I think I read it somewhere, where they say that people are actually now watching Netflix more on their mobile phones rather than laptop or television.
Kashyap, one more, because
Yes,
I
ma'am.
take off from what you said just now, and this, maybe I'm wrong, I have not read this anywhere, but since you are dealing with it, I would like to make this point here.
Yes,
We
ma'am.
see one movie, there's a Sonu Sood movie, I can't remember the name, he kept on killing everybody in that movie. I can't remember that name, if any of you can remember, whatever that name is. Fateh, something, Fateh. There was one more
Okay.
movie of the son of Shivaji. कौन सा था यार? Shava. I don't know if you've seen these two movies, Fateh and Shava. Now, when we went to see this movie. Shava was a good movie, no doubt, but we were quite, and I was quite anxious at the end of the movie, and I was like, I felt like as if I've run through battle. The reason is they're showing a lot of killing, and the killing does not end. Like, if in Godfather, for example, they would shoot that person, that's it. The killing is done.
Yes.
Yeah, whether it is Fateh or in Shava, they would show the killing, and he would keep on beating, keep on killing, and there would lots of blood keep on flowing, and so the killing part goes on and on and on. It is not like, you killed and it's done with, right?
Yes,
And
ma'am.
I realized something, it came to my mind, and my sons play a lot of the games on PlayStation and Xbox,
Yes.
right? And I've seen some of the games passing by the rooms, I've seen how they play, and many of these games are pretty violent. And then I realized
Absolutely.
two movies, and maybe others too, right? These are the new age movies, Shava and Fateh, they are the new age movies. These movies have been modeled on the lines of these PlayStation games. That's
Yes,
because
ma'am.
this generation will not come to watch movies in a theater if it is not something. Otherwise, they would prefer to watch their games on PlayStation. They would play
Yes.
games on PlayStation, right? If you replicate something like that in a movie, then only you can probably entice them to come to a movie. That also would be part of storytelling. Would it not be in a way,
Yes,
right?
ma'am.
This is my thought. I've not read this anywhere, but I kind of related the movies to the PlayStation games.
Exactly, ma'am. I was about to talk about games also. So, like we discussed about the augmented reality and virtual reality, today we can see a lot of movies based on games. Okay. Now, I play a little bit of game. I myself also play a little bit of game. And I don't know how many of you there play games on PCs or consoles. Okay. So, if you look at these games, they are very, very violent, and you can actually choose the level of violence. Okay, the level of sexuality, the level of violence, the level of vulgarity, you can actually choose. For example, if we talk about a game like GTA 6, which is very, very anticipated at the moment, everybody is waiting for GTA 6 to be released, right? So that GTA 6 is not something which I would let my son play, who is an 11-year-old. He also likes to play a lot of games. I'll tell you, yesterday, he's a big anime fan. He's a big anime fan, and his mom actually thought, okay, since he likes anime, I'll take him to this anime movie, which is a very popular anime. I think it's a live action movie, but he was refused because that's a 16 plus, and I didn't realize that it was a 16 plus. At home, he watches those series. I'm not a very big anime fan, but I can see that in anime there's a lot of, but it's a cartoon. Okay, even if we see blood in anime, it's cartoon. It's like a splash of watercolor. Okay, but like ma'am said, a lot of games, a lot of movies based on this, what do we say? Games have been developed, and they will try to make it as gory as possible. And to a certain extent, ma'am, I don't know, but I get worried to a certain extent. Like you mentioned, some of the movies are very, very, some of the series are very, very, for example, Squid Games. If you talk about Squid Games, it's not a series that I would, sit with my son and watch. But because of the digital platforms, again, the comfort of watching this content is also being popular. Now, we can look at both sides of the positivity and negativity. In India, I think there was a recent ban on some OTT platforms, which was becoming extremely, kind of soft porn. Okay, becoming kind of very, very vulgar, and there were some kind of directives by the government that there has to be some kind of regulation into these content. So, because of digital content, because of those things will never be shown on a theater, never. Okay, or even if it will be in a very, very regulated manner. Okay, but otherwise, because of digital platform, because of OTT, because of mobile phone, because of access to internet, because of evolution of internet, where we are today, we are talking about 400 Mbps, 500, excellent speed. We are watching content in 4K, so that has penetrated our lives. Now, that's definitely a negative part. We may not be able to control the next generation from watching these content. It's very difficult. It's becoming more complicated to filter these things out and keep our next generation away from these. That's one of the issues, ma'am. I absolutely agree with that.
Kashyap, thank you so much. I think I'm sorry, but these people have their midterm exams. I think they have
Oh,
class at 11:15. So
okay.
yeah, we would love to have you again. Thank you so much.
Sure, ma'am.
And
I will, ma'am, one last clip because that's again one very important part of the storytelling. I'll just show again. You don't have to look at it's not necessary that you listen to the sound, but this is something which is picking up. Okay, and this is something which is picking up from an entrepreneurial perspective. So let me just okay. So let me share the screen. This is a video which is very popular on TikTok, again, like I said, in Nepal. And this guy is an entrepreneur. There are a bunch of very young guys. I think they must be barely 22, 23, and they have got a few businesses. And they just started off with this Mr. Waffles. Okay. Now, the interesting thing is they documented the whole journey from the very first day they sat together and thought about the business till the day they opened the business. Okay. And they went absolutely viral. Okay. On TikTok. Now, if you look at this thing, so this is just a day, I think they opened up the business. So every day they made a content and they put it on TikTok. So this is day 33. I just took out a video randomly. Okay.
How many sports you go there? We will find it ready for the grand opening. Events सबै सेटअप गऱ्यौँ अनि फ्यामिलीहरू आउनु भएपछि प्रसादहरू खायो सबै रेडी भएपछि हाम्रो गेस्टहरू पनि फाइनली आउन सक्नु भयो तपाईँले को चिन्नुहुन्छ हेर्नु भयो
Okay. So I just skipped that. So if you look at this, they have made a video of about, I don't know, 130 days or something. And if you really look into it, okay, let me just share this. Share the screen. Okay, so if you look at this is their page and they have documented till 108 days. They have about 10.8 or almost 11,000 followers organically. They have 6,99,000, almost 7 lakh views. Every video has gone viral, 3 lakh views, 36,000 views, 40,000 views, 39,000 views. And this is the way the young generation are promoting their businesses. Now, this is a very, very different form of storytelling. So in the sense, this is why has this become popular? So this can be a very good way of, if somebody wants to be an entrepreneur in the class, I'm sure you have entrepreneurial, thoughts about the future. So if you open up a business, today we are talking about OGC. OGC is owner generated content. Okay. A lot of people will only talk about UGC, that is like user generated content. Okay. Your customers making videos and testimonials, but no. Today we are talking about OGC, that is owner generated content, which is very, very popular today. You will see a lot of CEOs making content. Okay. You will see, we understand that when there is a launch of an iPhone, before Steve Jobs, when he used to step on the stage, that YouTube video used to go viral. Okay, and that was the only marketing they ever did. Okay, today also you will see a lot of CEOs making videos by themselves. So we talk about owner generated content. We talk about employer generated content. That's also a form of story. So an employer who is working in a company or who can be an employee in his own company. For example, like me, I consider myself to be an employee of my own company. So I make content, I make content on a daily basis about my office, about my staff. Sometimes it's funny, sometimes it's sad, sometimes it's just, rush hour videos. Okay, so we talk about owner generated content, we talk about user generated content, we talk about employer generated content. So this is a new form of content which is very, very unfiltered, which is very candid, which is very realistic. And when we talk about the new generation, the Gen Z or the Gen Alpha, this is what they want. They want things in its own reality. They have stopped believing in advertisements too much. Advertisements is just to, for example, if you look at the Samay Raina wala ad, now they will not buy the product because Samay Raina came and talked about it, but they will buy the product when they go and experience it. The ad of Samay Raina was just to inform that this product has come into the market. Okay, so before 30 years before, we actually trusted Lalita ji and we bought surf. But today we are not trusting Lalita ji directly. We will go, we will verify, we will cross check, and then only. So in a way, the new generation is very, very intelligent, and the new generation is very, very intuitive. Okay, the new generation is very experimental. So the idea of storytelling has also, again, like I said, sadly, we don't have TikTok in India, but otherwise, if you really look into it, this form of storytelling has become very popular, and it's, the cost. Another most important thing is the cost of storytelling is zero. This guy is making a video in his own mobile phone, putting up on TikTok. Randomly, 3 lakh people are watching it, liking it, sharing it, and his business is popular overnight. And can you imagine? Otherwise, like I said, a 2-minute ad would not be possible in Star Plus because the cost is like, I don't know, maybe 1 crore per 30 seconds. So 2-minute ad would be 4 crore for one spot. And if you are putting up a 2-minute ad daily, 30 days, 30 into 4 is 120 crores. So that's a very, very huge budget. Okay. So the idea of storytelling because of digital platform is absolutely changing. Creativity is the centerpiece. And then we look at contrast, consistency, content. And the most important thing is it has to be contextual. So I think with that, ma'am, can I end the class?
Yes, thank you so much, Kashyap. And we would have liked to go on. Actually, these guys have another test.
Okay, ma'am.
Suppose they'll take advantage of me being the head and they will say, "Okay, we came late because your class was late." That's what they'll say. Thank you so much, Kashyap. I think I will invite you once again to our
Sure,
class.
ma'am, sure. It's always a pleasure to interact with students of MET from such a far place as well. So I always enjoy this.
If you are in India, you will have to come to campus to my
Sure,
class.
ma'am, sure.
We have already discussed. And as I said, I'm extremely proud of what he has achieved and
Thank
what
you,
he
ma'am.
this batch was very I like this batch a lot. They were very close to my heart. Thank you once again, Kashyap. Thank you
Thank
so
you very much, ma'am. And thank you everyone for listening to me and tolerating me for 1 hour.
Thank you, Kashyap. I'll speak with
Thank
you.
you. Sure,
Okay.
ma'am. Sure.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.